What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I also want to clarify something very important involving Elon Musk, because there's a lot of mainstream articles coming out criticizing Elon Musk for something, and Musk has come out and clarified some very important things about the company. So I'm going to break down more information about this and tell you guys what's going on. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them, and the offer ends very soon in just about a couple of weeks. Anyways, for Tesla, as you guys can see, Tesla is still range bound. We have support between 173 and 174 all the way down here. And we have resistance all the way up to about this 180 area. So we've been range bound for many, many weeks, back and forth price action, and eventually Tesla is going to break. So I'll break down more details about what I see happening. But let me just say that right now, Aapl, Nvda, SPY, and the QQQ look very, very bullish. The buyers are defending and they have the edges when looking at all these different stocks. But Tesla is still kind of range bound despite that. So that's something else that's worth noting. So I will talk more about these charts a little bit later into this video. I first want to talk about the news and break down something very, very important. So one thing that's worth noting is that, a lot of things have been said about Tesla and Elon Musk. The news came out and they're saying Elon Musk ordered Nvidia to ship thousands of AI chips reserved for Tesla to X and XAI. And he's getting a lot of criticism for this. People are saying that Musk doesn't care about Tesla. He's now just focusing on the other companies. He has too much control, this and that. And he was getting lots and lots of criticism for this. There's another YouTuber known as Meet Kevin. He actually stated and responded to this, and he said that a lot of people don't have any clue about what's really going on. So that's what Musk said in the beginning. And then he ended up quoting what Elon Musk said earlier. Basically, they are once again diverting some of their shipments to X/XAI, but he's saying that Tesla is no longer AI training compute constrained, and this could mean that Tesla's waiting for Blackwell chips and such. So that's something that's worth noting. I think that he does have a point about that, and that is very probable, but this is what Musk actually ended up saying. So this is where the headline is right over here. Musk ordered Nvidia to ship thousands of AI chips to different companies, getting lots of criticism for it, but then this is what Musk said to clarify this. He said that Tesla had no place to send the NVIDIA chips to turn them on, so they would just have to sit inside of a warehouse. Then he said that the south extension of the Giga Texas is almost complete. This will house another 50,000 H100s for FSD training. That is once again very, very important. How about the Blackwell chips? We're not too sure about that. There's a possibility that those could be incorporated as well. But he's clarifying that, wait a minute, what these mainstream articles are implying is not really what's going on. They're not really giving us that full context. That's why in my previous video, it's called Elon Musk had bad news for Tesla. Yes, the media kind of criticized him. I didn't see Musk's response, so I said, let's wait and see what he has to say. So wait for that. And that's something that was very important. Musk also had this to say right over here. He said of the roughly $10 billion in AI related expenditures, he said that Tesla would make this year, about half is internal, primarily the Tesla designed AI inference computer and sensors present in all of their cars, plus Dojo. For building the AI training superclusters, NVIDIA hardware is about 2/3 of the cost. His guess is that the purchases by Tesla for NVIDIA chips is between $3 to $4 billion this year, which is absolutely insane. He is clarifying that Tesla is still heavily invested in AI chips. Tesla is still, the main priority for AI development. It's just that when it comes to the way that the media is twisting things, it's not necessarily the truth, and they didn't have a place for those external and extra NVIDIA chips. They just would have sat inside of a warehouse, so they're sending them elsewhere for now, and they're gonna once again house 50,000 of the H100s once they complete the southern extension of the Giga Texas. That is a very, very important thing he had to clarify. He got so much criticism. All the headlines were screaming, Musk is ordering NVIDIA chips to ship them, elsewhere. They want the chips elsewhere. He doesn't care about Tesla, this and that. It's just BS in my opinion. I think that the truth is there always has to be so much more context. That's exactly what I told you guys in my previous video. So that's very important. That's something else that's worth noting. I want to clarify that as fast as I possibly can. That's why I did this right now. Now, there's also a lot of news coming out that now the headlines are coming out and they're saying the same thing I just kind of named about Elon Musk, about how he's saying that Nvidia's purchases could reach $4 billion this year. I showed you guys the actual quote by Elon Musk. That is a strong possibility. And that's actually very, very important. Tesla had to have some of the company's chips for X and XAI locations. They had to move some of them over there, which should have been Teslas to begin with, due to a lack of storage. That's the main reason why. So that's the thing that's going on. Okay, they're still heavily invested in AI. They're still developing the technology. Nothing is changing from that end. I must clarify that as fast as I possibly can. So hopefully that's clear, guys. That's the reason why Tesla did what it had to do. Now, when it comes to more news, know that tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI coming out, the Global Services PMI as well. That's going to be important. And then 30 minutes after the market opens at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the ISM Services PMI, ISM Services New Orders and Prices. The new orders and prices are going to be two of the most important ones because they do involve inflation and they help give us a better understanding of how inflation is looking, at least for the economy, and also how things are looking in terms of contraction and such. But this data is very forward looking, so that's going to be key for how we end up moving. So I think this is going to cause some high volatility for the first 15 and 30 minutes of market open for tomorrow. For more data for earnings, we just have like Dollar Tree and a few others like Campbell's. Then after the market closes, we have ChargePoint. Then on Thursday, we have Neo announcing its earnings before the market opens. And then when it comes to the fear and greed index, this is very interesting. The market has a tendency of kind of dipping before getting bought back up towards the end of the day. We did that on Friday. We did that on Monday. We did that yesterday and today. So it's very, very clear that the market likes to kind of dip a bit and get bought back up. And this is causing the fear and greed index to kind of show some fear. But right now, I don't think it matters because now this opens more room for this to now, turn this way as the market starts to push even higher to more greedy levels. The market has a lot more room, in my opinion. Greed is making up the majority of sentiment. Right now, the puts and call option positioning is kind of like neutral. We're seeing this dip a little bit because we're starting to see lots of puts being closed. And right now, we're starting to see buyers continuing to dominate. On top of this, market volatility is dipping as we have a gap to fill below on the VIX. So that's causing a big shift, in my personal opinion. That is something else that's worth noting, and that's what's causing a lot of these changes. So as far as the data goes, at least for Tesla, things are now looking very interesting. A few more things. We have 60 million in volume. Volume is very slow for Tesla. It's very, very choppy right now. It's getting ready for a much bigger move very soon, and we're waiting. We're also just about 9 days away from their shareholder meetings. That's going to be very important. And then the short volume is currently around this 63% area. There's still a lot of shorting going on relative to its full volume. And then we also have this right over here. We happen to have GLJ Research maintaining a sell rating for Tesla. We have the price price ratio very flat as Tesla's been trading sideways for over a month. And then we also have seasonality currently not in the best of places. Wednesdays tend to be green only 48% of the time. Junes tend to be strong months for Tesla, so we'll see if we get that breakout or not later on during the month. And we tend to see more volatility, more green around 10 a.m. and also around noon. So look for volatility at those times. With that being said, guys, that is it for the news about Tesla, what I see coming out from headlines and data. Let's now focus solely on the charts. How are things looking in my personal opinion, guys? Tesla's not looking that great from a technical standpoint. Here's the reason why. So short term, we have some wicks kind of forming right here. Despite this happening before, we did get a little dip on Tesla before it got bought back up. So that is always a possibility. That's why we're kind of dipping a little bit on Tesla, but we're still holding this key support. Tesla loves to hold this area right over here. Look how it's just going back and forth. This area right here, this 173 to 174 area, Tesla loves to hold this. And we like to get rejected between 178 and 180. So it's been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for many, many, many weeks, for almost a month. It's absolutely insane. So that's crazy, guys. Tesla's kind of stuck right now. Now, if we lose 173, we're going to be dipping down to about 168, in my opinion. And if we get a big bounce, you want to see it break and close above 180. If we do that, there's going to be a bigger push coming towards 182.5 than 185. Now, for the short term, is it possible Tesla dips? It is a possibility. Let's just say we do get a dip. It's not the end of the world because when you zoom out, okay, we still have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure developing. Even if we do dip a little bit, we could still try to rebound later on. So that could be another dip before another buying opportunity. So that's something else that's worth noting. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders. This suggests that later on during the month, as we get closer to July, maybe in like 2 weeks from now, Tesla's going to start to rally towards the 200s. That is still very probable, even if we get an initial dip as well in the very beginning. So what do I think Tesla's going to do? Honestly, guys, it looks a little weaker to me, but there's no sign of Tesla breaking down because we're still holding support. So I think it's going to likely continue to remain range bound. Tomorrow we might be retesting the 173 to 174 area, rebound, retest 176, and then just continue to trade sideways. That's the most likely possibility. It is possible we dip a little lower if we lose 173, but I'm not seeing that yet. So watch for confirmation just to be safe. And as of right now, we're still range bound. We are currently like snipers. We're just sitting on the sidelines, getting ready to really pounce on a big opportunity on Tesla. We're waiting very, very patiently for the big opportunity to come. How about SPY? Well, one word to describe this is bullish. We're very, very bullish looking. On the 30 minutes time frame, I had this very, very nice looking pennant that was forming, and I told you all that we're going to likely try to break the upside to watch for that breakout, and that's what we ended up doing. I told you to watch the high up here for Monday. That's exactly where we went to. We called this move entirely. So we got the nice breakout, and we're holding up very well. What do I think is going to happen? Well, remember what I said. Friday, Monday, and today, the market dipped and bounced, dipped and bounced, dipped and bounced, and continued to push 3 days in a row. We have the structure, this low right here. We came up, came back down for a higher low, came back up. We're holding up very, very well. Tomorrow could be a little dip coming. Yes, the main support currently is in the 526 area. 526.69 is one support that's worth watching. We could dip a little bit to 527.5, if not the 526s, then rebound and start to push again. And then I think eventually we'll be making our way up to 530 plus. The chart is bullish. We keep dipping only to get bought back up at the end because the buyers are stronger. So I think we could dip a bit, then start to continue to push to 530. And I think the 530s are likely going to be coming. For Nvidia on the 4 hour is looking more bullish in my personal opinion. I think that this could easily start pushing up towards a new all-time highs. We could dip a bit to retest 1156, then eventually 1180 is coming. So the share price looks bullish in my personal opinion. Bitcoin is looking bullish, is trying to break out right over here. If we continue to hold above this support at around this 70,250 area, I do see this eventually coming up towards 71,000. 100, then eventually getting all the way up to the 72,000. So to me, could be a little dip coming before it continues higher, and I see upside potential for Bitcoin. For the QQQ, the QQQ had a very, very similar as that, a very similar structure as that of SPY. When you look at the 30 minutes time frame, this is looking bullish because we also got a breakout. I was talking about this as well on the triple Q. So basically, what's happening is we have this nice structure right over here as we got tighter and tighter, and we got this nice break to the high up here, forming a very, very nice looking accumulation structure. So this is now looking more bullish. Our next target is going to be around 457 if we break past 455.5. If we lose 453, we could dip lower, but I favor the upside on this a lot more, so it looks more bullish in my personal opinion. For Apple, we're also looking more bullish, continuing to break out. And let me actually pull up the 4 hour and show you guys something else that's worth noting. We don't have to worry about specific levels, just look at this for now. When you look at the charts, Apple hit this resistance at 196, and our next target would be 198 above that. So that's my target on Apple. I think that Apple could, it is possible we retest like 194.5 around that area. Then we continue to push to 196. But overall, we're looking more bullish on Apple, and I do favor the upside a bit more. So I think 196 is likely going to be the case. For Palantir, excuse me, Palantir looks more bullish as well, looking at the structure. So I went over the main ones, guys. I typically go over. Let's just focus on the other charts. I'm going to be more blunt with this. There's a nice double bottom leg structure, inverse head and shoulders, and we're forming a nice accumulation. With this imbalance all the way up here, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to push. Let's see if we break past resistance at 22. Well, our next target will be all the way up here towards 23. It looks more bullish to me. For super micro, we look bullish. I think it's going to try to bounce short term. I think we're going to be testing around this 800 area very soon. We'll see if we reject or not, but look for a temporary bounce, in my personal opinion. For Rivian, we're on a very, very nice looking uptrend. We might dip a little bit, though. There could be a little dip coming before we try to bounce again. And the reason why I say that is because, even if we get a small dip, we could first off bounce. And then secondly, we still have a very, very bullish looking structure. So we have a nice inverse head and shoulders. I wouldn't be surprised if we dip towards 10.93, if not 11. Then we try to bounce off of that. And I still see more upside as a very, very strong possibility. For SoFi, SoFi is kind of dipping a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually end up testing 6.68 or so. We have a head and shoulders like structure, and there is a risk of this dipping even lower. But in my personal opinion, we could bounce off this 6.6 area and try to make our way back up later on. So it might dip a little bit more before we get the bounce. That's looking a bit more probable to me. For the IWM Russell 2000, I'm kind of in the middle. We're at support right over here where we bounced previously around 202, maybe a little bit under. So if we bounce off the same area we bounced off historically, I believe that we're going to be making our way up to 204. If we lose 202, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 200 flat. So we'll be watching this very carefully. We're at support, so watch for a big test tomorrow. I'm kind of in the middle. Same thing with AMD. We're looking a little bit more bearish, though, with the bearish looking structure on the 4 hour. If we end up losing support at 158, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 154. If we hold 158, we could be rebounding a bit towards 161.25. In my personal opinion, it looks a little bit more bearish, so it's going to likely dip a bit, but watch and see if we bounce off 158 or not. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping even lower. For ARM has a bullish structure overall. It's still accumulating very well. It likes to test these EMAs, then bounce, test them, then bounce. So it might do the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually touch 122.74. Then we try to bounce off of that. So look for a little dip and possibly a bounce since the overall structure is bullish. For Coinbase, we have a nice looking structure over here. We're looking more bullish in my personal opinion. If we manage to continue to break above 245, I think 250 is going to be our next target, eventually 253. If we end up rejecting up 245, our support is going to be all the way down to 234. My guts tells me this looks a bit more bullish. We might try to break out towards 250, especially with Bitcoin trying to show life. Amazon's looking more bullish. I expect 180 to be tested. If we break past 180.82, we're going all the way up to 183 again, in my opinion. So it looks to me like Amazon's trying to bounce right here. If you guys look at the structure, I think 180 is going to be tested, if not higher levels if that breaks. For Meta has a nice looking structure as well. We're going to be looking at this resistance all the way up here around this 478 area. I think we're going to be pushing all the way up to about 480 basically, but there's going to be a big test on Meta. If we break past 480, 485 plus is coming, then also the 490s. If we lose 480, if we kind of touch and reject, like how we rejected here and here, we're going to be dipping all the way back down to 472. So watch and see 480 to be tested. Will we bounce or not? That's going to be very, very key. Microsoft looks more bullish. If we break past 417, look for 419. It looks bullish overall, so it's going to be a lot more probable. But in my personal opinion, Microsoft is looking more bullish looking at the structure. Google's also looking more bullish. We are once again on a nice uptrend. If we continue to go higher, we'll be looking at 176 as the next resistance. We have support at 174, but I favor upside towards 176 as a strong possibility. For GameStop, if GameStop loses 25, okay, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 23. If we hold above 25.8, we could be bouncing back up to 30. So watch and see how we hold. Kind of indecisive right now, looking a little bit weaker. So we will see. I'm a little concerned about this a little downtrend that's being established here. So we'll wait and see just to be safe. For AMC, it's the same thing. We're looking a little bit weaker. If we lose 4.62, we're going to be dipping down to fill this gap to 4.3. If we hold above that, this could bounce, but it looks a little bit weaker, technically speaking. DJT is looking like it wants to rebound a bit. It might try to retest 46.7, and we'll see if we get a rejection all the way down to our 200 EMA or not. But look for a little rebound and see if we get a rejection or not. That's going to be key. The VIX has an inverse cup and handle like structure, and we also have this gap to fill down here. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of rebound a bit, because maybe the market could dip a little here and there. But ultimately, I do see this gap to get filled. And I think the market's going to pump, causing the VIX to dip lower. I think that's very probable. The 10-year Treasury yield is dipping amidst the very, very new-looking labor market data from the JOLTS job openings and quits. So this is showing signs that the Fed is getting closer to what they want. The Fed is going to be less inclined to be hawkish, and the yields are dropping because the market has more upside potential. Also, the biggest giveaway of the market pumping, or at least one of the biggest, is this. Check this out, guys. The dollar index looks bearish. We have a clear head and shoulders. We also lost the support right here. It looks to me like it's going to downtrend for the next, or at least the remainder of the month. And that's going to help the market pump higher. So that's what I'm seeing. So we're getting lots of confluence suggesting that the market's going to pump more. Tesla has potential to pump as well later on, but we will see if we get a dip first or not. I'm a little bit concerned about that looking at the structure. We have some wicks forming, which is showing some weakness, and we will see if Tesla loses support or not. As of right now, it's kind of hard for me to tell you if Tesla is going to bounce or not, at least super short term, because Tesla has been trading sideways, doesn't have a clear direction yet. So the best thing I can tell you is this. We are patient people. We are traders, and we are going to be disciplined. We're just going to wait and see. Like I said, we're like snipers. We're waiting for that opportunity, and we're going to just patiently wait. We're like a tiger waiting in the jungle, waiting patiently, waiting for the opportunity to pounce. And that's going to be the time for us to really see what happens. So just wait. As of right now, Tesla's trading sideways, stuck within a range, and we'll see what the big move happens to be. You could also day trade this range, but when I'm talking about a much bigger move, when Tesla makes 5% moves again, it's going to happen very soon. There's going to be a huge move coming, but we're just going to wait and see until then, because so far this stock is not really doing much, and we're going to be very patient. All right, guys, so hopefully that's as clear as possible. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow before the market opens. Thanks again, guys, and peace out.